become synonymous with leadership, and you may have seen her around coaching, speaking, and inspiring people on achieving success. She has defined and popularized the idea of success is within leadership, which has to date transformed the lives of 1 million people and helped organizations globally to grow exponentially. She is Payal Nanjiani, a globally acclaimed Indian-American leadership expert and author. Her books act as a catalyst, inspiring people to change the way they think about themselves and to be the best versions of themselves. She's been an advisor to some of the most successful leaders and companies in the world. With nearly 2 decades of industry experience, Payal is one of the most called upon speakers and executive coaches in the corporate world for anyone who wants the best results. Her keynotes and workshops show you the precise methods on how you can achieve success and get to the next level no matter what. Payal has been featured on global magazines, America's news channels, and radio for redefining leadership. Her aim is to help the maximum number of people in the world experience success in their professional lives. Payal lives with the motto of "Success is within" and believes that success can be achieved with speed and serenity. Are you ready to achieve unstoppable success and become a world-class leader?
Thank you so much, Asif, for this, and thank you for putting this together, and Mr. R.L. Bhatia. So, a very good evening to everyone. Oh, come on, I can have it much better. I'm here in India for some reason, so come on. A very good evening. Now, I'm sure you're not going to remember me based on what you just saw and heard about me. So here's how I would like you to remember me and connect with me going forward. My name is Payal, and I am your good friend and mentor. Is that easy to remember? Yes, yes? Come on, give me some energy, India. Yes, yes? And I would love to know all of you, and I would love to know each of you and your names. So at the count of 3, loud and clear, please give me your names. 1, 2, 3. Nice to know you all. No, see, they always say, right, you should connect with your audience and everything. So that's what exactly I did. But early on, when I was down there, some of you met me, and I had a good one-on-one conversation with you. And some of you I already knew because I had done some work for your company in coaching and some workshops. But nevertheless, it is always a pleasure to be here in India and speak with great minds like these. So let me begin by doing something interesting. I want you all to look at your partner and just tell them, today onward, you are powerful. Can you do that for me? Today onward, you are powerful. And you know what? Also go ahead and tell the same partner. It's high time for you, my friend. Oh, you know, the reason I did this, my friends, was not to create any rah-rah moment or motivate you. I think that you are pretty motivated. The reason I did this is because 18 years back, when I left corporate America to do what I am doing, the more I started to associate and coach some of these world-class leaders and executives, and the more I began to delve deeper into the subject of leadership, very early on in my career, I realized that the real game of leadership is completely internal. And so how far you will reach in your career, where you will reach, what you're going to accomplish is dependent not just on your hard work, your skill sets, your credentials, or for that matter, your talent. But it is predominantly impacted by 3 major leadership elements. Number 1, how effectively can you lead yourself? Number 2, how well can you manage your thought process and leverage it to your advantage? And number 3, how quickly can you bring about a change in your thought process and make sure that you adapt to the ever-changing business world? And it is the alignment of these 3 that will determine where you are and how far you will reach. You know, let me ask you something. Let me get to know you a little more better before I speak ahead, because I had such wonderful, incredible speakers out here, and I was listening to everything that they were saying. Let me ask you all, how many of you here feel and really believe that you are here in the corporate world. See, my entire life has gone coaching in the corporate world, so that's what I am all about. How many of you feel that you are here in the corporate world to make a difference and you really want to lead with impact? Can I have a show of hands? Okay, I'll take it from there, just depending on where this went. You know, as I was coming to India, Asif had connected with me back home. He was telling me that, you know, why don't you talk something about what are some of the skills and the capabilities that will be needed? And I said, fine, I'll pick that up and I'll share one of them. And this is one question I've always been asked, either during a book signing or when someone would come and take a picture. Very quickly, they would want to know, Payal, what is that one thing? And my friends, if I could come into your life, in fact, I'll do that. I want to talk with you and not to you, so I'm going to leave the stage and be amongst you all today and speak to you. If I was supposed to come and talk to you one-on-one and tell you that one quality, that one ability that you must develop so that you can be an impactful leader, that quality, my friends, is your ability to develop the power of I. Not this I, but the power of I. What do I mean by that? Let me take you through that. I'll take you a little bit back in time, and I learned this power, this ability of leadership in a very hard way in my own career life, and I'll share that with you very honestly in this room. Back in time, the year is 2011. By then, I had already left corporate America to do what I was doing. And as I was moving ahead in this journey, someone had referred me to be a speaker for 15 minutes in Atlanta Leadership Summit. I grabbed the opportunity because I wanted it. And I had prepared for this day, not just for a day or for 6 months. I had prepared for this for the past 9 years. It was always in my mind. I should be speaking at large audience in America on the stage. So I grabbed that opportunity. And what did I do? I started to practice and practice and practice. And I just built up that confidence. You know, when they say when you practice more, it will help you to be perfect. I did everything of that. On the day, I drive to Atlanta from my home in North Carolina. I reach the venue. I'm very much prepared, get into the green room, and who am I surrounded by? Some of these top industry leaders who were supposed to be on stage and speak for 15 to 30 minutes. So I'm excited. You know, when they say people who surround you, you get those vibes from them, and I was like, yes, that's me. And I mean, especially when you have just started off and in 5 years you get an opportunity like that, I was happy. I was rehearsing what I had to say in mind. Those days, I used to practice what I used to say as compared to now. So I was rehearsing what I had to say. And as my name was announced on the from the stage, I got up, and I still remember that incident. I got up, started to walk towards the stage, and all of a sudden, something inside me shifted. That time, I did not know what it was. So I walked towards the stage. I saw the audience, and I completely lost it, completely. My hands were sweaty. My heart was beating so fast and so rapidly, I could literally hear it up here to my ears. And I felt, come on, I mean, it's me. I have prepared for so much time. How many of you can resonate with that? You're so prepared. You're just so prepared, and you know nothing, damn it, can go wrong, but it did. So I stuttered, I stammered, and those 15 minutes in my life were 15 hours. I completed what I had to say in some way. I jumbled up everything, completed it, and walked off the stage. And there was not even a single applause for me in 2011. I went back to the green room, and I have all these industry leaders looking at me thinking, okay, so what just happened here? And I had my face in my palms. I will never forget that evening. I had my face in my palms, and I'm saying to myself, I failed, and I failed on a large magnitude. And I knew it that from then on, no one will ever invite a woman of color, someone from Indian descent, to speak on leadership on a large scale like this. Why? Because people from India were seen always as heads down with an MBA or an engineering degree under your belt. You work heads down in corporate America, and if you're good, you will somehow climb the ladder, get into the CEO roles like we have a few of them to name. Career is done. You're good. I took the less traveled path in spite of all my well-wishers telling me that's a career suicide. Who leaves corporate America to do something like this? Even today, when you search it up on Google, you will see that. But I took it. And I really lost it. For the next few days, no. For the next few months, I was totally out of sync. I would somehow wake up in the morning, go and get the coaching done. And at that time, who was I coaching? It was pretty scrappy, yeah? I used to be coaching very solopreneurs and someone who had just started off. So it was pretty not like what I do right now. So I used to do that because I had to pay my bills. I used to do that. And then one day, my older daughter, when I was dropping her to her swim lessons, she insisted in the car that I switch on the radio. Why? Because she wanted to hear the top 10 Hollywood songs at that point of time. And I said, no. And she said, no, you must, because she wanted to change my mood. And I said, okay, fine. As we were driving, as the songs were going on, there was a break. And then they invited someone to do some speaking. I don't know who it was. I don't know what that person spoke about, but one thing that he said, quote unquote, how you think about yourself when you are by yourself. No, how you talk to yourself how you talk to yourself about yourself when you are by yourself is a game changer in anyone's life. I was like, I park the car in the parking lot. My daughter gets out, gives me a hug. I don't even realize she has done that. She goes out, and I quickly take a pencil and a paper and I write it down. How you talk to yourself, about yourself, when by yourself can be a game changer. That day, I realized that's my problem. I practice. I have the abilities. I know what content I'm doing. Damn it, the problem is, how do I talk to myself, about myself, when I'm by myself? How many of you are relating to that? Because when that's the time that you have to do something, and at that time, what shifted inside me was purely this thing. And so I began to work more on that. I began to work more on myself, and slowly and gradually, things began to change in my life. And by the year 2016 or 17, I got to be known as the only woman of Indian descent to be an executive coach, a leadership speaker, and a leadership author in a completely white, male-dominated industry. And I share this with you not to impress you, but to express to you the power of I, the power of your inner voice. Each of us has it. It has been proven by data that 15%, only 15% of the top leaders in the corporate world actually make sure that they leverage the power of their inner voice to their advantage. The rest of us, what do? No. We don't ignore it at all. Absolutely, we don't ignore it. We also leverage it, but we leverage it to our disadvantage. Come on, just think about it. I know I have limited time with you today, but let me quickly just ask you to do something with me, okay? I want you to do this with me with your eyes closed, and don't peep around. I'm here. I have a flight to catch back. I cannot go anywhere. And don't peep around seeing what's the person doing. Their inner voice is telling them not to do it. Okay? Just close your eyes. Very sincerely do this with me. Just close your eyes for a few seconds. And I want you to imagine that you are holding a container in your hand. And with the show of your hands, I want you to demonstrate your container high up in the air. With the show of your hands, please demonstrate your container high up in the air, as high as you can. And you're taking this container of yours, and you are walking towards an ocean, and you are surrounded by ocean. I want you to keep your hands where they are, and I just want you to look around the room. Please keep your hands where they are, open your eyes, and look around the room. What do you see, my friends? Someone, come on, what do you see? What do you observe?
Different locations. Somebody is up, somebody is different degrees in which they are holding.
Okay, different degrees in which you are holding. What else? The size of the container. It goes from small to, no. It was extra small also, if you saw. It goes from small to large to extra large and to the abundance. That's the gap we create. You need some, are you putting, okay. That's the gap that we create between where we are and where we want to be. Each of us here, when I asked you, do you want to create an impact, you raised your hands. In every executive coachings I have done, people would say, I want to achieve something great. But that's the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It's the thinking gap. And I really want you to think a little bit more about this, my friends. When you are moving towards a certain goal, when you are trying to achieve something, what inside of you tells you, I mean, just think about it. If for some reason you're criticizing yourself, your inner voice is telling you to do something and you're feeling doubt, imposter syndrome. See, I coach more men than I could have done for women. And I know that when it comes to these qualities, when it comes to things like imposter syndrome and anxiety and tensions and stress, it is equal with men and women. I have never seen a discrimination or a distinction in that. My question to you, my friends, is when you have these types of feelings inside, what's the type of action do you feel like taking? Do you feel like taking too big actions or mediocre? Mediocre actions. Like those types of actions will give you what types of results? Poor results. And it's the same old you with the same old pattern of thinking, wanting to bring about a change in your results, in your corporate outcomes. It's insane. Coaching so many of these, in fact, when you do this cycle, that this is exactly where you're going, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling anxiety, tensions, and at that time, we are going to be telling our employees and our leaders what? You need to perform better. You need to make sure that you get more better results. How even is that possible? How is it possible that our leaders, because most of my coaching is with senior leaders. So senior leaders and executives, we are not paying attention to what's going on within them to get those results. Wall Street puts pressure that you need to achieve these results, but we need to just bring that shift from what we are achieving to how we are achieving it. From what we are achieving to how we are achieving it. Can I ask you to do something here, my friends? Loud and clear, can you say this along with me? Come on, use your hands. I am in control of my IV. What's IV? My inner voice, okay? I want you to look to your left and right, give a high five, and say, success is within me. How do you do this? How do you make sure you're in control of your IV? It's not going to happen by giving a high five. That's not my job as an executive coach, right? There are 3 voices inside of each of us. And if I had more time, I would have taken you through a lot of things. But there are 3 voices inside of each of us. You know that feeling when you really want to do something big and you want to achieve something and you feel, oh yes, of course, I can do it. How many of you have felt that? That you know for sure, you want to do this, you can do this. That's the visionary voice. Every leader has it. That's the visionary voice. That voice tells you, hey, you know what? You can do it. And apart from you, no one else can do it. So you're the best person. So you want to take that step as you are planning it. And it happens in everyday life. When you're speaking in meetings, when you're in the boardrooms. In the boardrooms, I have seen the best CEOs, the best executives hesitate to bring out what they want to say. But when they meet with me in one-on-ones, oh, you should hear their plans. It's amazing. And the moment I'm in the same boardroom, there's a difference. That's the visionary voice that is telling you, you can do it. And then there's another voice that will tell you, you know what? Last time when you did it, you failed. You better not try it again. And this time, recession is up here. And guess what? You don't want your name to be in the recession. You don't want your name to be in the layoff. So just play it safe. That's your survivor's voice that will protect you. And so you will take one step back from your visionary voice. And then it won't stop there. It will then, as soon as you try to navigate and leverage it and navigate through that two voices of your survivor and your visionary voice, what's going to happen? Another voice is going to come and tell you, you know what? Your boss, your spouse, they're not going to support you. They never supported you earlier too. What are they going to do now? It's better you play it a little low. Just keep low key. You're going to fail miserably. And you take one step back, and that's your victim voice. That's why in the companies you will see a layer. You know, in my books I put a pyramid, and I say you have 3 layers only in the organization, with 15 to 20% being in the bottom layer, 65 in the middle layer. That's how we say it's called the Jugado's pyramid. It's a Spanish word for players. These 3 voices keep you fluctuating. And finally, what do majority of us do? We get stuck in the survivor's voice or the victim voice. And then we look up there and we say, hey, you know what? That person is so lucky, yeah? They just reached there. No, they were not lucky. Because I have private access to these people, I can tell you there was no lucky factor. It was all an inside game that takes place. And science has proven this, my friend. Just think about it. Whenever you make a goal, the prefrontal area of your brain gets activated completely. You feel that rush that I want to achieve, that's the prefrontal area of your brain. And immediately when these voices come, stress, anxiety, doubt, imposter syndrome, the amygdala, which is very near to the prefrontal, starts getting activated. And if you don't know how to cut that pattern, guess what's going to happen? There's something in the brain called snowball effect. 17 seconds, you don't know how to break the pattern, you will get into the victim and the survivor's voice. 17 seconds is what it takes for you to go from visionary to survivor to a victim voice. 17 seconds. And if you cannot break that snowball effect, you are going to stay where you are, getting stuck, not moving ahead. I have seen this happening throughout with every leader that I have worked with. So I want you to just ask yourself and take this and extend it to your teams, please. Which voice is most dominant in you? Which voice is most dominant in you? Please check that even with your teams so that you can categorize them and you can enable them to be motivated to work more. To wrap this up, my friends, here's something that I really believe. I truly believe that the corporate world, our corporate world, to be more innovative, to be really succeeding, and to move ahead, we do not need to only train our leaders. Our leaders are well trained. I'm telling you, our leaders are very well trained. What we need today in the corporate world is called transformation. They have to, each of us, we have to bring about a transformation in our thinking and in our behaviors. That's when we are going to see a result. That's when we are going to see an outcome. So I want to ask you 2 questions to keep for yourself and for your team. Number 1, which voice is most dominant in you? And number 2, in every challenge, in every situation, what would a stronger and a much better person do? To conclude, my friends, here's something I really believe from my heart. The more you will listen to your I power, and the more you are going to focus on your power of your inner voice, the more you are going to achieve. And the more you achieve in the corporate world, the more you are going to shine. And the more you're going to shine, the more it's going to hurt others who cannot get where you are. But just because, and I always say, the more you shine, make sure you shine without blowing off someone else's candle. That's not what we are here for in the corporate world. Shine without blowing off someone else's candle. So the more you shine, the more people are going to have an issue with you because it hurts their eye, right? It hurts them. They can't see you there. They just can't see you there. But do not diminish your shine. The only thing I would request you to do is give them a pair of sunglasses so so that they can see you rising up. With this, my friends, I hope I've added some value in your life, and I hope you will really consider seeing not just what your employees are doing, but how they are doing it. Because when you're talking about talent retention, when we are all speaking about how do we make sure that we have another world altogether in our companies, we have to shift the focus from what to how. With this, my friends, I wish all of you tremendous, tremendous success in your corporate life. God bless each of you. Thank you so much, and I'm a pleasure to be here. Oh, and by the way, I should share, I still speak at the Atlanta's Leadership Summit. Okay, so thank you so much. God bless. Thank you, Asif, and to Dr. R.R. Bhatia for having me here. It's a pleasure.